Welcome back. This is To Be Frank. Today we speak with Mr. Neil Sweeney, who some of you may even know. We talk about life, love, selling businesses for millions of pounds, and what it's like to miss out on multi-million pound opportunities to big names in the industry. Don't miss this one. Let's get into it. Neil, thank you very much for coming on. This is To Be Frank. Do you mind telling the audience a little bit about yourself, where you are in life, where you've come from, and what you do?
Yeah, cool. Okay, so Neil Sweeney, or the Sween Dog, some may call me as, or you might refer to me as. No, but yeah, I am. I think what they might call is this entrepreneur. I'm not too keen on that word, but I see opportunities, and over the last 10 years, I've built, scaled, and sold a couple of companies. I'm on my third opportunity, I guess we could put it that way, which is a high volume school photography business. That's now a new exciting venture that I'm involved in, scaling that up. I am an EOS implementer, which is a big thing for me, which is helping others grow, get a grip of their businesses and scale up, live the life that they want to live. So that's a big part of my life. I'm a father of 3, husband of nearly 20 years, and I'm an Essex boy.
Awesome. You live quite an eclectic life. You're an addict business owner.
Yeah.
You can't own enough.
Yeah.
You're building and selling them. So how's the current one going?
Yeah, current one's great. So an opportunity came about. I just sold my last company. I was embarking on my journey as an EOS implementer, and the opportunity came up to acquire a high volume school photography business. Jumped into that. What was really attractive about that kind of business is it's got tradition. It's something that you can scale. It's not actually, in the sense, anything that's subscription based, brilliant. Any subscription based business is always fantastic. This isn't subscription based, but it's reoccurring in that sense. There's a trend, there's a very sticky market. And so all of those big things that I look at in a business, that was like, right, that does tick all the boxes. Can I hold a camera? Do I know how to take photography? No. But the actual, in terms of the business facets that I look at, yeah, it ticked all the boxes. So yeah, bought that. And I've been nearly 2 years in the saddle with that company, and it's leveling up. So
You enjoying it?
Yeah, I think for me and this is what's really interesting as well, like come out of school, didn't know what I wanted to do, still don't know what I want to do. I don't think I'm ever going to know what I want to do. But I went through, my background was property, so that was always a thing. Property's always been a part of my life. But then it was property management, built that business, property security, site security company. And now this is photography. So they're all different areas, they're all different businesses. But what I guess that's to share is when I look back, property management, that is contracts. You're securing these block management, so you've got this reoccurring. As long as you serve it and serve them, that will stick. The construction site security, we had alarm contracts, so we look after sites. Yep. So that was reoccurring, that was sticky. And then the same for where I'm at now with the high volume school photography. It is the relationships that we have with our schools are very sticky, and you can scale and grow. So you're kind of compounding.
Is it super predictable?
Yeah, what I like about that's a great question, is I can predict the growth where I like to see it within about 5%. And I can predict so we've just done that this literally the last couple of weeks, the forecasting, the budgeting, I can really track that, and with all the measurables and so on. So I like that. There's quite a lot of comfort that I get from being able to see where it can go.
This is something I wish I knew when I started my business. I didn't really think about these things. I see an opportunity. I was at a loose end. I was 19, 20 years old. Knew I had to get out of where I was, and this is what I knew, so I just started it. And it's kind of got to me to where I am, and it's, afforded me the opportunity to meet people like yourself and loads of other cool people. But I was having a conversation. I was actually sitting across the breakfast table with someone you might know. He's probably a bit more well-versed in podcasts than we are, but Daniel Priestley.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation with him over breakfast, and didn't really plan it, but just like grilling me about my business, which I think is what he does best. And for anyone that's watched him on a podcast or watched him live on YouTube or a TEDx or on Diary of a CEO for the 8th time.
Mm.
Yeah, he kept dropping that one in. He's like that all the time. He fucking loves it. He lives and breathes business. He just kind of sort of stares you in the eyes. So, how's your business? What does it do? Tell me things about it, and starts giving you advice. And I sort of try to justify, it's like, yeah, my business is quite difficult. We have problems with the weather. It's completely unpredictable. We start from zero every month. The guys don't turn up. We're reliant on equipment. Sometimes we turn up and the site is not ready for us. I went, yeah, no, but I appreciate a lot of businesses have these problems. He just looked me dead in the eyes. He went, no, they don't. He went, most businesses don't have them problems. He went, you have got a very hard business. He went, my business is much easier than that. And I'm earning loads more money. And it got me thinking. I mean, I'd already knew this before. I mean, speaking to you about Securo, you didn't have necessarily all them problems. Like weather wasn't really so much an issue. It's, people needed security on their site, whether it was rain, sun, snow or whatever. And the model worked. And I'm not saying ours doesn't, but the way you kind of get money out of it and the way you can predict the future isn't the same. And it's not as attractive as compared to some of these other businesses, a bit more regular.
Yeah, it's really interesting, that point. I mean, how often do you actually really look at, when you look at a business, what does it entail? What's the reoccurring part of it? If you are, let's say you're fitting your pool installation, right, swimming pools. How many swimming pools has anyone got, if they've ever even got a pool? Once you've had one pool fitted, then you have a maintenance contract, you've got to manage. So there's a little bit of back-end spin-off there. But once that's done, you're on to the next project. It's construction, isn't it? It's the same kind of thing. Where, for me, what I would look at, if I was, going, what business opportunities do I like? Now, for me, swimming pool maintenance, that would be different. So to go there, to have the cleaning contracts, to do the pool, to supply them with the chemicals, to then to go and look at all their sump and the tanks, and we go and do that. So that you do a 5-year contract with me, it's $2,000 a year. All right, okay. So every time the bell rings, we've got a new client. That's a $10,000 deal. How many deals do we want to lock in a month or a week? I look at that. So that for me would be, they're the kind of, that's the sort of things that I look at that trigger, because I just think it gives. For me, it gives you a sense of stability and scalability. So how can I scale? How can I keep
I'm
compounding it?
Grab myself some free business advice here then. How could I implement that kind of mentality, that kind of structure into my business? Currently, we advertise, we win a customer, we get a line painting job, and we do the job. We collect our £200 and pass go, and then we don't often get that job again for many, many years. Sometimes we get repeat customers who have several sites, or the one site we're working on is really big and we'll kind of go back to it, but it's so unpredictable. We done one job and it was £500. Didn't work there for another sort of like 12 months. The next job was 17 grand, just randomly plopped in. Didn't work again there for sort of like another 18 months. And then the job after that was £250,000. I mean, that's one particular extreme example. And then we haven't had anything for another year, kind of thing. It's so unpredictable. And we might not get anything for another 2 years. How could, you spin that there and rather than building the pools, how could I...
be the maintenance version of it?
Yeah, because it's a very tough one. We thought about this.
Okay. I'm assuming that you're... Okay, so when you look at management companies, so I can speak from experience a little bit here, because we had 2,500 properties that we managed, block management. So we would have these blocks of flats and all the numbers and all the line markings and all of that. We would go and do probably every 3 years. Probably would go and give them the once over and give them the give the loving. Is that an area that you could look to do? ? That you would say, do you know, in actual fact, this is what we do. We come and do it every 3 years. We just do a flat fee, you lock into it, and you can just roll. So it's almost, we just set it or we come and do it every year or every 24 months. I don't know. But I think the challenge you're going to have with that trade is once it's done, that might last for 10 years. It depends how much it gets used, right?
Yeah.
That car park.
It's unpredictable.
It's unpredictable. And the size of it. So what about if you looked at the clients that you're dealing with, what else could you support them on? That you might be able to find like that reoccurring angle. What else is there that they're instructing people on? Think about the clients that you're working with, and what in addition could you do? Don't know.
Interesting. We do sort of delve into this a little bit, and we sort of delve. I won't go into too much detail, like boring specific business bits. I'm going to flip the podcast on its head. We're at the part of the show, because I've decided, where we bring it in. We're going to call this part of the show 2 Cups, 1 Guest.
We'll love it.
Yeah? You love it?
I'm
We
loving
call it
the
1
2
Guest,
cups.
2 Cups.
Oh, no, I don't like that. I like the 2 Cups, 1 Guest.
Yeah. So this part of the show, I don't actually know what's in them. I'm learning slowly that one of them is pretty vanilla and one of them is slightly less vanilla. Arguably, we've had some vanilla ones that were not that vanilla. It's like, here's a simple question. What is the meaning of life? So don't listen to it. But the pinkly, orangey, peachy one, that is the less than favourable questions, but hopefully will spur a good conversation. And then we've got the vanilla cup, which, could be anything, because obviously Jack's been lying to us this whole time. So yeah, if you want to take one.
Who created these questions first? Where did these come from?
This was Jack. This is the guy sitting in the corner. Yes,
Jack with the
very
vanilla.
sadistic. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm definitely not going to go vanilla, because who goes
No,
there?
no one's picked vanilla so far.
No one's ever picked a vanilla one, have they?
Vanilla.
Let's have a look at one of these. It better be
one
brutal, Jack. Let's have a look.
How big is your...
One from there, one from the
and vanilla.
One, yeah.
All right.
I'm going to do 2 at once.
This is great. What a great game.
2 cups at once.
It's a bit like, you get them Chinese cracker, you crack them open.
Yeah.
You're going to have a very long life.
Yeah.
Right, here we go. I'm going to read the unvanilla. Tell me about a moment you sent a message to the wrong person, replied all, or posted something you immediately regretted. Ooh. Have you been on Michael McIntyre's show recently? This is like something that he would do. That you sent a message to the wrong person.
Knowing you as well, it's probably a video message too.
Yeah. So one that spurs straight to my head. When one of my first jobs, I was a commercial agent, and there was an email on an email trail, and on that I couldn't even remember the name, but it was like something Dinkerbunk or something like that. It was the most bizarre surname, and I was CC'd in a colleague of mine, and I remember replying back. I find it funny because it made me smile now. But I would thought it just gone to my friend, my colleague, but I've gone back and said, what sort of a surname is that? Well, I've replied it back to I replied it back to the client. Yeah, we didn't win that project, actually, fun enough, after I'd insulted his surname. But that one springs straight to mind. What have I regretted? Something I regretted. I did regret that because I lost the work. I can't say there's many that spring to mind, though, out of your...
I had one years and years ago. I must have been probably 17 at the time, 16, 17. So, 16 at the time. So you're still young at that point. It's my first job, and you're impressionable. You want to make everybody happy, and everything's kind of new. And I was working in a bike shop, and I do hope he's not listening, because he's a lovely guy. But I have to give some context here. So the boss, Nigel, best boss I've ever had. And I think I told him that to his face even after I left, like years later. Awesome guy. Learned a lot there. And I was in the shop basically answering the phones by myself. He was upstairs fixing bikes or something. The guys out at the back were sort of doing repairs, and it was just me kind of like on the counter scanning the little like sort of jelly things for people. And the phones rang.
What was the job?
I was working in a bike shop, like a little bicycle shop.
Right, you were fixing them or just selling stuff?
Both. No, I used to sort of repair them. I used to do all that sort of the repairs and the servicing.
Yeah.
I used to sort of help out on the Saturday morning bike rides.
Yeah.
So I used to sort of go out from Sidcup. It's like really not a nice little community shop. He'd owned it for years, since he was in his 20s, and he's probably in his like mid 60s or 60 something now. I've got that wrong. He's probably going to message me on LinkedIn or something. Like, how dare you? But so I was working in a bike shop, and I remember it clear as day. I picked up the phone, it was ringing, and I was like, "Hi, Sidcup Cycles, how can we help you?" And hi, is Nigel about? One moment, sir. I'm going to go find Nigel. Sir, this is Rhonda, his wife. It was the owner's wife. She had a really thick Scottish accent.
Really, yeah.
And I was like...
But sounded like a bloke.
Not on camera. Look, maybe it was the phone line or something. I'm just going to say it was the phone line. And I was like... Hi, Rhonda. I'll go get him now. I'm like,
Yeah.
I felt the colour just
Oh,
drain from my
no.
body, and I patched it through to his phone upstairs. Then 10 minutes later, he's come down and sort of looked at me all funny and just kind of walked past.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely a learning curve.
We'll
that
put
one.
it down to the heavy Scottish accent.
Yeah, we'll put it down to the
Yeah.
heavy Scottish accent, which is lovely.
Yeah.
Obviously, I sort of met her and got to know her after that point, but
Yeah.
not a fun moment. I've got a question for you. What's a habit or a trait of yours that has held you back over the years?
Oh, that's a good one. Not taking action, just not taking action on things that my gut, it just felt right. I'll put some examples to that. In Securo, my old business, so this is a business one as well, and there'll be a couple of personal ones, but in the business sense, there was an opportunity that I could have scaled the company quicker by this certain product, these little towers, these Daleks, and I'd seen it well early in the journey. I went, they're the one. We need to be fabricating them and pushing them out because it was a really smart little Dalek. Move them around, put them in the middle of the site. You must have seen them around there.
Little blue and white,
blue
thing,
and yellow,
yeah.
These little things. Anyway, I saw them. Yeah, I'm talking 2012, something like that, before the market was even flooded with them. And I went, my cousin was a fabricator, he had a steel company. He kind of pieced together a little bit. I didn't bother with it, got distracted and just didn't take the action. And it travelled with me all that time. And then I started to see more of them. Well, it turned now there's thousands of them. And this particular company's got 6,000 of them out. So, do the math. It's tens and tens of millions of pounds of revenue that this company's getting off the back of them. I saw that opportunity. I just should have taken action. That was one. Another one was a hotel in Ibiza. Well, that I'd always want and still want a hotel. Maybe not Ibiza so much now. It's very commercial.
To buy a hotel.
But somewhere in the Balearics, Menorca, that's a lovely place as well. But anyway, I built a really good relationship with a commercial agent out there, White Islands agent. So this White Islands commercial agent got chatting to her. I said, look, I'm trying to find a hotel that's the right size that a private can get into it. So it's not a big commercial corporate. Kept a good relationship, but about 18 months later, she's rung me up. I remember I was at the gym and she said, Neil, I have literally found this unicorn that you was talking about. It was 21 beds. It's a boutique style hotel just outside San Antonio. It's owned by a Dutch family, has been in the family for 30 years. Like it hasn't changed, but this has got all of the ingredients that you need So I was like, right, okay. It was 2.4 million euros at that point. I was still heavily involved in Securo. And for me, I just found the whole, how do I do it? I'm trying to build that business. The getting out there, the running, the doing. I was like, I just don't know, raising the money. I was like, no, I just don't sit and just didn't take action. So I remember I said, okay, can I have 1 week on it before you take it to the market? She said, yeah. I had the week on it, slept on it, woke on it, slept on it. Thought, no, I just don't. I'm just not going to go with it. I just should have taken action. Literally a month later, it was acquired. So the Mambo brothers, I mean, the Cafe Mambo, so those two hooked it straight up. They've converted it into what it had every vision to be. Kept the same size, not made it a 50-bed hotel, and it's the nuts. It's exactly what it should have been. And I'm like, oh my God, the keys were like literally just Neil. That's an opportunity there. Just should have taken that.
The thing is, it can take your attention away from what really needs it at the time.
Well, it can do, as entrepreneurs or opportunists or whatever, you see shiny stuff, don't you?
Shiny object syndrome.
Do you know what I mean? Like we're magpies, and you're like, oh, that's a good one. So I'm always conscious to try and hone that down. But the reality of it is, like, if you're built like that, what you do have to have is a really good team around you. You need to get that right. You can't just be everywhere, because we know those people. They're just everywhere, and they go, I bought this, I've done that, I'm trading that, I've got a few dodgy watches, like whatever, they've got everything. Where I do think if you know that's your character, embrace that. But you do need to have the people around you to be able to deliver. Because that's quite a rare, they're quite a rare, someone that's just ballsy, that just wants to go and create and find these opportunities in the angles. I've done it with holiday parks, so another big one, one that I didn't take. So I've been caravanning with a family for years. I love it. It's great fun. Hook up the train, I call it the road train. We drive down. We've spent the best times in Italy, Germany, France, Spain, like done Europe. Like very lucky. Secure, I was very lucky to have that I could take 6 weeks, 7 weeks out over the summer and just travel. And so in going over, seen the best sites. Like Europeans do it so well. Like, you know, one of them I remember being up in the Dolomites in Italy, like glorious site, amazing vistas, going down to this restaurant, great wine, in the hot tubs, the spa. Like, this is not caravanning. This isn't in Bognor Regis kind of level.
Yeah.
This is real high level. And I was like, why don't we just do this in the UK? Why doesn't the UK serve this? So I came back to the UK. I was like, right, where is this site in the UK? There's 2 in the country. One, James Martin. We both know James Martin, not the chef. He was at yesterday. It's called Love to Stay in Shrewsbury. And I remember going, right, that was the first one. Went up there. It's got this natural swimming pool. It's got jacuzzi. It's got open fire pits. You know, the families can go and barbecue. It's just got it right. It's got a paddle boarding lake. And I went, okay, yeah, this is a good standard. This is what I see it like. Really cool. The other one was called Concierge Camping. And that's based down in Cheltenham Way. So I remember seeing these both sites, like, right, that's what I want to go and do. I want to go and set one of these sites up. So there's 2 key agents in London that sell maritime, so marinas and holiday parks. I've taken them for lunch, kept engaged with them, said, right, I need to be in Essex. They went, you've got no chance. This is a unicorn. You won't find it in Essex. So I then started to write I'd got a list of these 20 sites, and I'd write every 6 months, personally written. Hi, I'm Neil. This is my story. Blah, blah, blah. I want to try and buy a business. I want to try and buy a site. 18 months later, I had 2 come back to me and said, Neil, I'd like you to come and have a look. We're considering selling. So I went there, gone to this site. Amazing, perfect. Had the lake, they had a 5.5 acres site, blah, 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 all the pitch, all the thing going on. Took my family there. I was like, right, I'm excited about this. This is the new thing. We're going to do lodges, and this is going to be the next thing in Essex.
Lived on site?
Live on site.
Yeah.
So live on site. It had the whole thing, the play area, and blah blah blah, and we could build these lodges and all of that. Rent that out. It's in the area of natural beauty in the border of Suffolk. Like it's a unicorn site. Anyway, it didn't fit. Again, family just didn't fit. It's like, okay, it was a chunk of change to put out.
How much was it up for?
So that was up for 2.1 at that time. So chunk of change. Okay, leverage as well. The whole, not to go into too much depth with caravan and the rates and yields, but there's not a lot of money in caravan sites in terms of income. There's not a lot of money in them, but there is a lot of money in the lodges and then the increase up, so families can come there, like the centre parks of the world.
Start doing the archery.
Yeah, that's it. So that's where the money sits. So anyway, long story short, I said no, it's not an opportunity, but I did know someone that was in the game, and I passed that across and said, look, there's a great one there. I can't do it because of my timeline with the family and blah blah blah. It just didn't fit. Anyway, acquired, got planning for 50 lodges. It's now valued at over 5 million. And you just go, oh, I knew it was another one. Like,
they've built the lodges though.
Yeah, got the planning for the 50. So the 50 lodges now.
But they haven't built them.
They're building now. They're going to be start delivering them. So like, there's all these little opportunities that you see. But then again, there are opportunities. I'm sure I would have seen and gone, I won't bother with that. And then you actually, you dodged a bullet.
Yeah, no, it's been loads. There's loads, and it doesn't bother me if it doesn't get done. It's when you see someone or a competitor that they do it, and you're like, oh, yeah, wish I'd done it. Like
anything for you?
Not particularly. I mean, we're actually quite innovative in our industry. I'm a lot earlier in my career in terms of I haven't got the spare cash. I haven't sold a business. I haven't really accumulated enough to kind of necessarily take on anything big enough that interests me.
Okay.
In the future, I've got some ideas, but it's all very shiny objects, And I think as well, the opportunities when they pass you, I've got lots of ideas, but I was talking about this with Paul, obviously there been a podcast released before yourself, and I think it was with Paul, and it's like, ideas are just words without action.
Yeah, it's great.
And I have loads of ideas, but I just said, it's just words until I do something with it.
Yeah.
In our sort of weekly meetings, we started off, doing the EOS, and we still do it every week. But what we've changed is we was just spitballing hundreds of things, and then not really coming out of it with any kind of clear actions and actionables. So we've boiled it down, and we only sort of talk about 5, 6, 7 things in depth, really, really concisely, and then there's like a clear action, who's going to deal with it, when they're going to do it by, and what they've got to do. And everyone's like, yeah, I feel like I've got so much clarity. And then you come into the next week, and they've achieved 3 or 4 sort of like 5% improvements, and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
Rather than talking about 101% improvements, and not really coming back, because it makes them feel deflated as well.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's that EOS thing, as you know, we've worked together on some of that on the EOS. Is that simplify, keep simplifying, simplify your meetings, simplify those ideas, execute on stuff that you can actually action.
Mm-hmm.
If you see issues, it's cool, but just put it for another day. You don't have to. Not everything has to happen now. Everything's overwhelming, isn't it? I mean, we're very much an immediate gratification society now, aren't we? Like, everything's got to be now. I need to see that. You go onto YouTube. I've got loads of content now. I need to listen to this. It's going to podcast. I need to watch that. I need an immediate film. Like, everything's just now. In actual fact, sometimes just calm.
I have to rein myself back sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like that whole kind of like the want and need and giving into like the impulse. Now, I know you've obviously got control over it and you've kind of directed it in a way that suits you and works for you. But I could imagine or at least when you were younger, very impulsive.
Yeah. I still am.
I am so bad.
Yeah, I still am.
And I'm like a dog with a bone when I get talk about a card I want to get.
Yeah.
I've got it in my head. It's like, I can't shake it.
Yeah.
And I fill my day with like on the spec thing, the configurator.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like justified in my head, like, this is a good use of time because it's motivation to go and do some work. But I'm sitting there like not doing any work.
Yeah.
So
specking the car.
Yeah, specking the cars. So once
that would be a cool car though. To be fair.
I was like, I'm going to get the printout done and I'm going to just leave it up in the office.
Yeah.
Like, this is the goal, and these are the things we need to do before I can go put a deposit down.
Yeah.
Before I can justify. Like, we go put a deposit down next week, but I could also go get 2 vans next week for the same price. So it's like, do we go get 2 vans? And it all has to fit in.
Yeah, of course it does.
It all has to fit in nice. Kind of on that topic then. So it's probably no secret that you've achieved what a lot of people see as success. There's probably a point in your life you're like, do you know what? I could take a couple of years out now if I want to. Obviously, you haven't. You're an addict, like myself and a few others. Having the money, seeing that big sort of like check hit your bank account, did it give you sort of lots of fulfillment and happiness?
Oh God, I mean, it's such a random one because I think this is the best.
Imagine you're talking to someone that's literally they've worked, they've been employed their whole life, or they're fresh out of school, fresh out of college, and they're hungry. I want to go get that 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 million pound check in my bank account so I can go ride jet ski 7 days a week. How'd that pan out for you?
Right. Okay. Firstly, I think now I've done a few years now in the saddle, and I've got plenty of years to go, hopefully. Firstly it's so crude, but it's so true. It is the journey. Like, it is this. It's even spending time here with you guys, like sitting here and the journey and the meetings and the excitement and the buzz and all of that. This is it. I can only speak from my experience. Is the best I can relate it to is, okay, so money needs to be a by object of this, because if it's, right, I'm going to do this, I need the money. Let's be frank, that might not even ever come. Yeah, so let's be really real about that. You might not actually ever get that. Let's be frank, there we go. Yeah. That might not even arrive. So let's look at, okay, yes, we need to set ambitions. We want those targets. We need those goals. But don't have that once I get that, everything's going to be great and amazing. Because the truth is that might not ever be there. And in actual fact, in my experience, when it arrived, it's like the most surreal thing, because you go, oh, right. It just, because the truth, like, what else do we need? Like, I don't wear jewellery. It's like, if I had £1 million in the bank this morning, I wouldn't go and buy myself a 900 grand watch. I don't want to wear a watch. So you end up, what it does give you freedom to go and make decisions and choices. But what it doesn't do is have this feel of like, right, amazing, I can just go and do. Because now you've just got another problem, that you've got this cash, what do you do with it? That needs to go to work for you. Mm-hmm. And it's a very different feeling. And I think, so this is a great way I feel looking at it. The journey of building a business was around 12 years. So if you and I went and bought some scratch cards today, and we went, let's just throw them on the tables, or I just brought one in as a gift, and you scratch it off, and a £5 million is just there, you are like, shit the bed, I never thought that was arriving today. Mm-hmm. Like, I cannot believe it. The euphoria that would feel, because that is a win, like it's a physical win, isn't it? Like, that was never here tomorrow. I mean, you'll be specking that.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is going to be a big spec, truck now. So But
I
when
wouldn't tell anyone, but there'd be signs.
Yeah. So you can imagine, yeah, exactly that. So, but when you are building a business and it takes over a decade, you're scratching that card for over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you're working to that, the growth, the stress, the borrowing the money, the sleepless nights, they are that. The thousands of hours of conversations, the thousands of hours of work and labour and strategy and hiring and firing and people and leaning and over a decade. When it arrives, it's kind of just a bit of a relief.
Yeah, it's just like you take your foot off the pedal for a little bit.
Oh God! So it happened. It did happen then. So it's a very different feeling, and I think so. For me, was there on the sale of my last company, which was probably the larger of the two. You think there's going to be a confetti celebration. There isn't. There's no fireworks at the top. This is great. You've got there. You get up there and go, all right. And that's so true. You look next door and you think, oh, I'm literally on this little mountain. Like, oh, that's the mountain. So it's all different levels. And I do honestly just think, you know what? When I think about it, some of my favourite times were in the transit van, just cleaning out the bin stores with the team, having the crack, having the laugh, down the Greg's Bakers, and just enjoying it. And it was all part of it. So there's almost like different phases through it. But certainly do not presume that once you have money, that's where happiness lies.
No, well, I was talking about this earlier with Paul. Now, I don't think he sold a business, but I mean, not many people can say they've got an 8-figure business,
No.
doing over £10 million. And I asked him a similar question. And he's a very modest guy. He's driving around in his sort of Ranger pickup. He doesn't want for anything. He can afford nice holidays and stuff. But we was talking about the experience side of things. It's like once you've kind of done it, you kind of realise, okay, that's what I was aiming for. That's what I wanted. But it's not necessarily the source of my fulfilment and happiness. No. So, but it's nice to be able to do it. I think that's the part there. I think everyone wants it. Everyone kind of, most people kind of, they gun for it and they aim for it. And then for those that do actually get it, from what I've experienced and from what I've seen in peers and people like yourself, they kind of achieve it and they go, actually, do you know what? Some of my happiest moments wasn't this exact thing here. No. It was, scrubbing out the back of the van and being in the yard on a sunny day with music blaring, Domino's pizzas being delivered. And that cost like 50 quid. Yeah. So it's interesting because it's very, it's very easy to listen to someone that's had the money come in and go, yeah, don't worry, money doesn't equal happiness. Yeah. When you're listening and haven't got it.
So much so. Yeah.
I get it all the time. Well, not that I've got bundles of money, but I get people go to me, oh my God, you've achieved so much. You're 28 years old. You've got a business. You employ like 15, 20 people. You're turning over a couple of million quid. And I just turn around and go, well, it's all relative. Like, I was like, you don't, like, the amount I've had to kind of sacrifice. And it kind of like, and the time and the effort, and it's just a consistent burn. Whereas they was like pissing it up at uni. I was on a site at stupid o'clock at night, sort of trying to get a job done. When they're at their friend's birthday party, I wasn't there. So kind of on that note, like over the years, what is and this could be a positive or a negative, but what's something you've had to kind of give up? Where's the exchange been? What's the exchange for you been?
Yeah, for me would be my headspace when I'm with my family. I think when I was building the businesses, so in the earlier days, the children were actually just being born or in their very young stage, 3, 5 years old. And I think looking back, there are times when you're sitting with them and you're reading a book or you're walking around the park, but I'm not really there. I'm not really there. And I'm very present with that now. So I've just taken my girls skiing the last couple of weeks. Lucky, had a great time out there. Like I am 100% present. I'm all in. And in the earlier part of my journey, I just was like, oh yeah. It wasn't an inconvenience. That's totally not the way. But it was part of like, oh yeah. I know I'm here. I'm present, but my head, my wife would say that, you're not listening. You're not in. I know I'm trying, but I'm also got this. I've got that person who owed me 40 grand. If I get an email out today, I could get that done. It's just your juggle. Yeah. So that was a sacrifice.
I go through that. I mean, less so now. I'm 8 years in as of next month, and I was so guilty of that in the beginning. I don't think you have a choice. Like, it's not like you can go, oh yeah, just be more present. Like when you're starting a business, you're proper bootstrapped. You're 20 years old. You're hustling and you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. You are the accounts department, the
Yeah, you're
quoting.
everything.
You're everything. Like, you have to. Like, you have
Yeah.
to be there, and you have to be organised, and you have to kind of just keep pushing.
Yeah.
But as early as possible, I'd say to people, get someone in that's organised, that's regimented, that's
Yeah.
not thinking about it and stressing about it the same way as you are, because
Yeah.
they'll see it from a different light.
Yeah.
And it'll just keep them things that keep you up at night just organised. So
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. You just need, like, again, like, and these all things like none of us are going to reinvent any new wheels here. They've all been they've all been made. They're all spinning. Just look at a wheel and go, I like that, and I'm going to actually make it my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you look at the first part of a journey, so when you look at that first, I say, okay, so maybe let's look. We're starting again. We're starting afresh. If you and I were going into business with each other, what are our strengths? What are we good at? So I'm not methodical, and I'm not particularly. I don't, I'm not consistent. I'm not consistent. You're not going to see me there every morning in front of my laptop doing the same process. I'm just not that guy, right? And if you and I were going into business, you might not be that guy either. So we would have to agree, okay, what happens with these particular roles that need consistency, that we need the methodical? Are we going to hire it in? Are we going to borrow some money to hire it? Or are we going to agree that we're going to hold each other accountable and do something? Because it's so easy to go and chase the fun bit, but not deliver on the doing of stuff, and the balls fall down, especially early days with, taxes, VAT, all of these issues. I mean, do you know what I mean?
You just brought something to the surface then. Yeah,
do you know? And it's so true though, isn't it? You're like, oh God, it's just because I don't get it. It's not what I do. Don't understand it. And I think that's.
I trusted someone that I shouldn't have trusted to do all of my sort of accounting and bookkeeping. I wasn't even fully qualified. And when they changed all of my guys over from self-employed to PAYE, they didn't know, and they failed to tell me that we should be paying the tax man all the PAYE.
You're right,
So we got
keep
20%
back.
in. Yeah, we got 10 months in, and then they started like knocking on our door, like, you haven't paid PAYE, you owe us 10 months worth of your employees.
Oh,
PAYE.
lovely.
And I was like, I beg pardon? Didn't have it. Like, it took us about 2-3 years to pay off, because as we was growing, we was like, do we spend the money on growth, or do we just completely stunt everything and just pay it all back?
And pay it back, where's the balance?
Yeah, he was trying to balance it, so he just has a repressed memory, that one. We finished paying it off about 2 years ago.
But just get good people around you. And I also is that if you ask people that you look up to that are successful and they've been in the journey ahead of you, most, if not all, will help if you ask for it. Physically, and I mean literally, if you're going to message them or you're going to ask them, can you help me?
Don't pussyfoot around it.
No, can you help me with this?
I need advice.
I need some advice.
We're happy to help.
And they are, the absolute happiest to help. From my side, if everyone ever was to make that approach, can I have an hour with you? Can you help me? Of course you would, because you kind of feel like if you're in our tribe, if you're in that, like I've got your back as much as I can help.
I won't do it for you.
No.
But it's, and I say this to people. I get sort of smaller business, one-man bands. I've got a friend of mine, I'm sure he won't mind mentioning. He's been reaching out to me. He's got problems. He's got a business partner that he's not getting along with, and everything that he's done, I'm just like, if you just asked me the first time, I would have just told you. I would have given you a blueprint of what to do and what not to do, because I know for fact. I told him after he sort of like, I said, I'm committed to this. I'm doing this. I said, mate, what you've done, I'm telling you now, it's probably going to backfire, because the way he had it all set up and everything. And 2 months later, it's completely gone tits up. I've just said to him, walk away from the company, shut everything down, liquidate. I was just start again. I was like, because the company's so small, there's no brand. Brand doesn't exist at that size. Yeah. You are the brand. Yeah. All the customers are yours. They've got your mobile number, it's your email. Yeah. They know you. You are doing the work. You're booking it. You're quoting it. The other dude's not doing anything. Yeah. He hasn't even got a driving license.
Change the name. Game's the same.
Yeah. And he's like, what? I can do that. I was like, well, what else are you going to do? You went, the van's in my name. I was like, brilliant. I mean, either you just go and do it, and then he has to go through the whole. It's just.
But even messy. With that though, Frank, when you are in that earlier stage, that feels really magnified. The vans and so on's no name, because it's all relative, isn't it? It's exactly that. So, and there will be companies that will be sitting above us, or people that have just whatever in their life and they'll be looking, going, "Oh, why are you worrying about that? Just do that." But it's all relative, because in our stage, and that's why I think is putting your hand up, you'll get a lot of people that will put their hand down and help you and advise around that.
There's someone that sacked 100. There's someone out there that's probably sacked 1,000 people this week. Yeah. And sold a company for £100 million, and it was just an average Tuesday.
Yeah. It's all relevant.
It's all relevant to them. Yeah. It's all relevant. And as you kind of like surround yourself with like bigger and better thinking people, you kind of realise that.
Mm.
And it forces you to kind of expand your mind and start thinking a bit bigger. I noticed that when I started going to the dinner. I sat down with Gary Mead.
Yeah,
from
love Gary.
Eurolo.
Yeah,
I'd actually like to get him on here. I need to message him.
Yeah.
And sounds like an awesome business he's got. Cool guy, really sort of like nice, humble, smart as well. And I sat next to him at the dinner table. It's the first time I was like, fresh faces, about 3.5 years ago. I was not in a great place personally and with business. And it was just what I needed at the right time. And I sat to him, I went, Gary, I was like, I don't mean to complain too much in that, but my business, it's not really like the painting the lines. I mean, it's not really my passion, He went, well, cleaning out Portaloos ain't my fucking passion.
No.
He went, but I do £10 million and employ like 100 people. And I'm like, I get it. And it kind of not clicked, but I was like, there's more to it than just the painting the lines.
Totally.
It's the systems, it's the people.
And that's the one. Be passionate about that. Be passionate about the business within that. His business model is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, it's great. We're always going to need to go and use the toilet. Full stop to that. Our men, like, whatever that is, whatever race, religion, whatever time, whatever period, wherever you are in the world, it's irrelevant. That is always going to have to happen.
It's a want and need business.
It's an app. They're brilliant. That even just down to that is a brilliant business. Because it's just that. It's as simple as that. It's like water. If you're a water supplier.
I thought it was a bit of a shit business.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very shit.
It's very
It's
full of shit. No, it's a cool business. But I should reach out to Gary. He probably had quite a lot to this. We'll start rounding up there. I mean, you haven't got another question on your lap. Or it was floating around. Can you remember what it was?
Yeah, I haven't.
This was the vanilla question, wasn't it?
This is the vanilla number.
That means it's probably not.
It's not going to be. Here we go. What's a setback that looked like a failure at the time, but ended up redirecting you somewhere better?
This is one of my favourite questions. This is
brilliant. I've got a perfect one for this. So when you're first normally scaling up and leveling up your business, you are pretty much just Mr. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, can you do that? Can you do it? Yeah, I'll just do whatever. Do you know what? I've just got to survive. I'm in survival mode. I just get the work. So we were early days for Securo, growing that business. And we were looking after a lot of property management companies as well. So line markings included, because we were Mr. Yes. So we would get the old thermostats?
Thermoplastic.
Thermoplastic. We'd get the thermoplastic and the burners. We'd be getting the numbers. We were like Mr. Yes everywhere. And then this job came around. So, okay, just paint a bit of a picture. So we were a business that was about $1 million revenue at this point. So a happy little business, happy little team. And we had some tradesmen that were doing some light work, some wet work, some plumbing work, some bits and pieces, a couple of ground workers. And we were asked, and also we had our alarm business. So we were doing some alarms within that. So some vacant property, because we're starting to branch out and be Mr. Yes. Now, it came along, I remember I was abroad, but we were asked if we could do some chimney repairs to this Grade 2 listed building in Kent, just across, actually literally up the road from here, fun enough. I'll go and see how it looks.
Yeah,
it's probably
fallen over.
Yeah. Beautiful grounds, this lawned area at the front, transit van with the T150 cherry picker on the back. This is now in the winter. So the guy, one of our guys, has driven onto the centre of this lawn and he's just sunk the transit with the trailer, done a U-turn in the middle of it. You can imagine it. It was chaos. He's managed to get the van off, but has totally ruined the front of this lawn.
Was that avoidable?
Oh, totally. Just it's a manicured, laid lawn. Like, don't drive the.
No one else has managed to drive.
No, don't drive the van on this manicured lawn grounds at the front of this big manor house. So anyway. And there was a build up to this. There was lots of problems. We had flooded in lifts. We had this, and I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm out of control. I'm saying, I'll do that. I'm Mr. Yes, but I'm not Mr. Yes. I can't hang a picture. I'm leaning on these trades. We're doing all this thing. So, so this was the kind of the nail in the coffin, the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. I got a phone call from this managing agent. Blowing up. I'm on holiday. You're still answering the phones because you have to, because you're on holidays. I'd spend half my life with the baby in my arm, sitting in the pavement, paddling with the phone stuck to your head. Like, it's that typical scene when you're first out venture. And they just said, look, you've really created a massive problem here as a company. Now, bearing in mind, I'm sitting on a beach in a holiday. I'm having my time away, and. So we ended up...
How big was the company? How many people did you have?
So we had there was probably about 10 in the business, 10 to 12 people in the business, something like that. So a happy little SME. And I remember ringing up my then business partner, And it was an accumulation of stuff. And I just said, I am out. I'm just out of this. I'll speak to you when I get back, but I'm out. I'm going to talk to them. We're going to pay for all this work to get repaired and get all done, but this isn't for me. And I remember coming back into the boardroom, to our happy little office, boardroom, that sounds extravagant, little room with a desk with 4 chairs around it. Yeah. I remember sitting in there with my partner. I had 2 partners at that time, so there was 3 of us in the business, and just said, right, we've got about 50 grand of revenue from this alarm side of the business, and the other 950 grand, you guys can have all of that. I just want the 50 grand of revenue, because that's where I believe that there is a business. I can become the expert of it. It's niched. I can reoccur it. I can grow that 50,000 to 5 million. I can see an opportunity. That's what I want to do. I don't want any of that other part of the business. We can do 1 or 2 things. Join me, and we're gonna shut the whole company down in theory. Let all that business go, and we're going to charge on that, and we're going to go there. Or we'll just cut it in, and I'll have that, and you guys go there. Anyway, I said, have a think on it overnight. Came back to me the next day and said, no, we're going to cut it. Or we're going to shut that part of the business down, and we're going to grow at that.
You all decided to shut down that part of the business?
So we then let go of a number of the staff. Said, this isn't for us. We let all the staff go. Got rid of all the kit, all the stuff, all the lawnmowers, all the cutting, all the kit. And actual fact, I won some award or something years ago for this very thing, because I shut a business, pretty much shut it down back down to the 50, to then grow back up, because it's just not where I want the business to go. It's just not where we are. And I think so many companies just go, no, just keep going. And then you end up going, do you even want this? Like, is this what you set out to do? Yeah. So
That's interesting,
in terms of that, what failed? Well, that massively failed, and then, Securo flew.
Well, in hindsight, you look back and you go, why didn't I do it sooner?
Yeah. But do you know what that is? I think that the share in that is specialist, expert, simplicity, reoccurring, scalability. Like, just go, keep adding. Strong sales team, just compound it all.
Yeah, so. Just get that compounding going sooner, and you'll reap the benefits a lot quicker.
Yeah, man.
Neil, it's been an absolute pleasure. Is there anything you'd like to put out there into the ether, into this world that doesn't normally get said on podcasts? Anything that springs to mind?
Don't take it too seriously.
Okay. Neil, been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on.
It's my pleasure.
Hope to have a game soon.
Yeah,
sometime.
love that. Nice one. Nice
Wicked.
one, Frank. Thanks.